Hey everybody, good evening. It's Mike with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. A lot of times people end up having some water coming up through their floor and they have no idea how it happened, where it came from, when it happened. We're going to go over this because a lot of times flooring is a very important piece of the house, probably the second most important piece next to the roof. Let's get into it. So when we look at the most common causes of these or not roof issues, but floor issues when it comes to leak, wet floors, warped floors, sometimes it can be a roof leak coming down on the wall, believe it or not. All right. Sometimes it can be a window leak. So check the outside windows. If you're having a leak right by your window, it could be a caulking that has failed. You'll see gaps in the caulking, so when it rains, you'll find some water comes in that way. Check underneath because what you may find is here a settlement crack. I've had clients that literally have had hairline cracks in their foundation, exterior foundation. Put a little stucco on, everything's fine. I had one client I couldn't even see. I'm up with my face against the wall and she had to point to me. There was nothing else. That ended up being the source of water that came into her bedroom, ruined her floors, went through the closet, obviously went and penetrated the closet floors and went on the other side to the other bedroom. So some things are also apparent and a common cause is slab leak. And a lot of other cast iron pipe or other pipes within the home tend to be the culprit as well. So the first step in all this, you've got to figure out where, how, why the leak is happening. Check your water bill. You'll know actually if you get your water bill. If you're like me, I open it up, but I know a lot of people tend to get it by email and then just maybe have an auto bill pay. So your next step is to figure out who you got to call. Leak detection company, plumbing company, roofer. All depends on what you're finding. Another individual you may want to call is a water mitigation company because they'll open up the walls and maybe some guys are good to where they can pinpoint, and then at that point you can determine whether a plumber, leak detection, roofer, or anybody else is applicable to come out for that particular cause. All right. So you also may want to do a water test on the exterior on and by the window and under the window. And then finally, obviously, if you've done all these and you haven't called a roofer yet, that may be who you want to get a hold of. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel to get more exciting videos on all different types of insurance claims that deal with your home, condo, or business. Okay, for this one, wait to call the insurance company until you're 100% sure you have what the leak source is. Now you want to make sure you have the professional, plumber, leak detection, roofer, water mitigation company, properly document on their invoice what the situation was that had gone awry. Okay. Here's a question. If it's a window and you're in Florida and there was a recent storm with high winds, is it attributable to that? Is it worth filing a claim for that? You have to decide based on the amount of damage of your floors, walls, etc. All right. If it's a plumbing situation and it's a pipe, again, everything's going to be fluid. It's going to depend on the amount of your damages. If you have floors in more than one room, or you have continuous flooring that goes throughout the majority of your house, it's probably definitely going to be worth it. As a matter of fact, it would be worth it. But you want to make sure they put found crack in pipe, found leak in pipe, had to replace pipe. The documentation's going to be very important. And then this final point, why you need to wait to call the insurance company, because if it was a long-term leak or a leak you had no idea about, you're setting yourself up for a denied claim because long-term leaks are not covered. And if you don't know how long it's been there and they can detect and see that there's mold buildup or that the wood looks like it's pretty dang old, so as far as the damage being old, then the insurance company is by all means going to deny it based on the fact that it's been long term. So what do you do in that matter? What do you do if you've seen this video or you're seeing it after you file a claim and you realize maybe I've called the insurance company and told them it's a long-term leak, or I didn't know where the source was coming from, or I didn't know I had a leak? What do you do? If it's anything involving a long-term leak, anything involving a leak you didn't know about, which comes back and ties into the long-term leak, I would contact the public adjuster to see if they can help you. Now, there's some tricks involving this. I shouldn't say tricks, but a strategy involved. So you need to hire the right person, the right guy. You need interviews, just as you would if you're bringing a contractor in, right? Call them on the phone, talk to them, find out if they know what the heck they're talking about, and tell them what happened and see how they would approach a claim. Because I'm going to give you a pointer. Okay, so if you've already filed your claim, right? If you already filed a claim, what you told them is going to be crucial. It's going to play an integral part on what they're going to do with your claim, the insurance company, that is. And again, anything you mentioned as far as long-term, or as you see in my quotes, I don't know how long the leak was going on, is going to get your claim denied. No questions asked, especially if you're a resident of Florida. If you're in another state, you have some hope, but it would be difficult. So here's a point I was explaining about why you need to call a public adjuster, and then this 14-day is going to lead up to that. So even if it's a long-term leak or a leak you didn't know about, a good public adjuster is going to come up with a strategy. So I put this 14-day, and let me tell you the story about the 14 days. So in some insurance policies years ago, what they used to have is saying that if any leak is longer than 14 days, it's not covered. So we used to do something to get around that. And so now the insurance companies took it out, and now they use just generic language saying repeated or constant seepage or leakage is not covered. So the 14-day, and you might say, well, how do you know if it's longer than 14 days? Well, if they see mold, if they see that it's been deteriorated, it's a judgment call. It really is. Now, the other thing is if your water bill shows that you've had consecutive months of high water, right, that also gives away. And usually they'll ask, or a smart insurance company, their representatives or their attorneys will ask for the water bills, and you have to cooperate, so you have to give that to them. And then they'll see that it's been longer than 14 days. So the trick or our strategy that I always did, and I still employ this even though there is no 14-day language, is the following. Okay, so it's longer than 14 days. Give us day 1 to 13 because that's when 99% of the damage happened. The damage didn't happen after day 14, 15, 16, 17, 130, 365. The damages happened between day 1 and 13, right? I still employ this strategy, but I use it on a different scale. I had a mediation with a State Farm adjuster, and I kept on, with the mediator, I kept on asking this guy questions. I said, tell me, when does a leak become long-term? And he was a doofus. He really had no idea. So I kept on saying, okay, let me ask you. Let's pin it down to the days. Is it 14 days? I started there. He's like, no. I said, longer or shorter? He's like, well, it'd probably be shorter. Okay. How about 13? No. Okay. 10 days. 10 days after a leak happened, is it considered long-term? He goes, no, it'd have to be before that. 10 days, I'd still consider that long-term. Okay, let's do this. How about 7 days? So he said, yeah, anything after 7 days, I said, great. Mrs. Mediator, you just heard, he said anything after 7 days, he determines that, in his opinion, to be a long-term leak. So my client's damages happened between day 1 and 6. They didn't happen after day 7, 8, 9, 10. So, as a mediator, we are asking, and this is why we are asking $35,000 or whatever the amount was to settle this claim. All right? That's how I approach this. That's, if you have a good public adjuster, how you approach a long-term leak or the I don't know how long the leak has been going on party. So let's summarize here and break everything down. The unknown leaks, how long they've been going on, or the long-term leaks, these are the most difficult type of water damage claims. You should not risk trying to do it yourself with the I don't know I had a leak or long-term. You are doing yourself a disservice, and you are setting yourself up not only for your claim to be denied, but also difficulty in somebody else who comes along, public adjuster, attorney, to help you. So you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before calling the insurance company. If we go back, you want to make sure you know where the source is coming from, what happened, how it happened, and that your professional contractor who did the repairs documents that in his invoice. Make sure they don't put anything that it was a long-term leak. You don't want him to put his opinion on things if it was long-term leak. You don't want him to put anything about what you said. Just have him put in, very simple, repaired pipe, repaired faucet, repaired the slab leak, etc. So one area that sometimes I've seen in the past that proved to be beneficial is sometimes a water mitigation company where they have to open up walls or rip open your floors and you have mold or it's wet. It could be proven beneficial because a lot of these guys have construction backgrounds to where they've seen so many different leaks. Maybe they can help pinpoint, and so maybe these guys can be the first ones you call and then contact a plumber, leak detection, roofer, whoever it might need be. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Mike Keeler. I am a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. The company is the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. If you need to get a hold of me, here is my cell phone number. If you have a question, need help with a claim, here is my email, and then of course my website. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it proved helpful.